What's good, y'all? This is Let's Get It with Coach Los. I'm your host, Coach Los AC, certified life and relationship coach that helps people fix or find the relationships they want. And this podcast covers the best relationship advice, tools, and action steps to get the results you want in your personal, professional, and of course, love life. So I hope you get a lot of value from the episode. And if you do, as always, remember to like and subscribe so you can be notified when I drop new episodes. Let's get it. You're so hung up on your ex because you're not asking yourself the right questions. I've done numerous videos on overthinking and ways to move on from your ex and so forth. But in reality, thought itself is kind of a byproduct of question asking. When you're thinking, you're usually trying to answer a question for yourself, or you're making a statement about something that has a question tied to it. For instance, if you need to accomplish a goal, you might say to yourself, what do I need to do to get this done, right? You start with a question. Or say you have something that you're already going to do and you make a statement. You say, I need to get to the store before it closes. But you're saying that and you're thinking in the back of your mind while you're saying it, well, and why do I need to do that? Well, because if I don't get to the store before it closes, I can't get what I need to make dinner tonight, right? There's still a question associated with the train of thought, no matter how you want to slice it. So when you get stuck and hung up on your ex, whether it's overthinking or whatever it is, it's a matter of you asking yourself the wrong questions in that period that's keeping you stuck in the pain space, instead of looking at that situation or that circumstance as a build-worthy moment, a lesson to be learned, the silver lining, the benefit in that circumstance for you. So shifting the questions you ask yourself is going to shift the experience you're having as a result of this breakup. I promise you. Imagine asking yourself this instead of saying, hey, why wasn't I enough for them? Because that's a question people ask themselves sometimes. How could they do this to me? Why would they do this to me? How about asking, what is going on in their life to where they can't see my value? Where are they struggling to where they're not able to treat me better? Where is the big void or the pain inside of them? And what are they dealing with internally that's causing them to operate towards me in a very unhealthy way and to do what they have done? And if you notice, that different line of questioning shifts the focus from it being about you being this whole issue and you being not enough and all these things towards what's going on with them. Why do they not see your value, right? Instead of your value not being valuable because they have decided to treat you in a way or move away from you that in your mind, you're saying to yourself, well, the question you ask yourself, well, if they did that, does that mean I'm valuable at all? Right? You start answering a poor question with a poor answer, which is you start saying, well, maybe I'm not that valuable, because you're asking yourself a question that is ridiculous in the very beginning. Type of question that your value is less than because someone else chose to walk away or chose to treat you poorly. That's on them to choose that, not on you. And now I'm with you. Maybe you did do something to mess up in the relationship and you acknowledge that. You feel like, no, I did drop the ball. And it's painful to see the results you got in your ex leaving you because of it, right? That's fair. But even in your line of questioning to that, it can be a game changer on your ability to move on and get past it. So instead of spending a lot of time and energy asking yourself, how could I be so stupid? How could I mess up so bad? How could I drop this ball like that? Why am I such a piece of crap? Or why am I so horrible? How about asking yourself, what is it within me that I'm struggling with that would allow me to go mess up what I think was the best relationship I had? How could I use this experience to build me better for the next person? How could I have approached this circumstance a lot differently to get a better outcome? What can I do to possibly make it right if they're open and willing to that? And if they're not, how can I prepare myself to be so much better to build off of this moment so that whenever the next person comes to my life, I'll make sure I don't self-sabotage it again? You see, that line of questioning is very different than a line of questioning that asks horrible questions of yourself that gives you horrible answers. When you ask yourself, well, why am I so horrible? Why am I such a jerk? Why do I always do this? Your brain is going to do what it's designed to do because it's a supercomputer and it's going to go give you an answer. Well, because you've always done this in your life. You've always been a piece of crap, right? This is what you do. It's going to give you something to answer what you're asking it. You're asking poor questions and getting poor responses instead of how could I have done it differently? What is my biggest internal struggle for me to do it better, right? To where you're not making yourself the problem. You're making your actions the issue. You're making maybe a habit, a trauma. Past baggage is the problem, not you. See, whenever the actual actions are the issue, and maybe the stem root to those actions are the problem, you can fix and change that. You can evolve that to evolve you. But if you yourself are the problem, then you're going to just kick yourself and think of yourself as less than because you can't change being you. But understand, anytime you're operating and doing things that are negative or toxic or, destructive for yourself, it's not truly you. We're all built to be love. That's the frequency that we are made on. We get conditioned away from who we truly are because we don't know who we truly are oftentimes. So the better question to always ask yourself is, what is going on within me that's blocking me from being who I truly see myself as? Because if you really were this piece of crap, you wouldn't be kicking yourself for it. Why would you kick yourself for being what you are, right? But because in your core, in your spirit, you truly self-identify as a good person, a loving person, because that's what we all want to be. No one chooses to just want to be evil or whatever for no reason, right? And that's the very reason why we kick ourselves whenever we drop the ball, mess things up, because we know we're being less than what we actually are. So don't make yourself the problem by asking questions that makes you define yourself as the issue. No, ask questions that helps you discover what is stopping me from being who I am and all that I actually can be. And in respect to your ex, ask yourself questions that allows you to empower yourself to get better results moving forward, whether you can repair things with them or not, but never questions that comes back and says that you are not enough to get something that we all deserve, which is immense love, respect, and joy in life. But at the end of the day, you can only truly deserve these things if you claim them as your right and you do what's necessary to have them. The biggest way you'll never be able to have these things is by continuing to ask your mind depowering questions that are horrible in nature, that requires your mind to give you horrible answers and responses in return about yourself or about the situation or the experience you went through. If you need help going through the process of learning the skill of asking yourself better questions to empower yourself to get results you want going forward and move on from a painful breakup and not keep yourself hindered and be destructive to yourself, either email or DM me coaching and we will get to work if you're ready to put the work in. Let's get it.